Hey, this is Angie for Happy Healthy Vegan, and I am back in the Happy Healthy Vegan kitchen at long last for another recipe demo. So I've been putting up a few pictures on Instagram, instagram.com/happyhealthyvegan, of this great huge persimmon haul that I got from my sister Lisa. It turns out the place she lives at now has a giant persimmon tree, and so I am getting to enjoy some free persimmons. So some of them are getting really ripe now, which means it's a perfect time to whip up a persimmon pie. So for a persimmon pie, you're obviously gonna need persimmons. I'm using fuyus. These are the ones that are most readily available everywhere, and I let them get really ripe. I wouldn't suggest using them too hard for a pie, though you can eat them when they're firm. I know a lot of people on Instagram have been asking me, where do you get persimmons? What do they taste like? How do you ripen them? You know, all these questions I guess are kind of tough, but basically I like to let them get really red and really soft when we're talking about fuyus. If you're talking about high chias, they need to get pretty much black. Your pie crust can be made a number of ways. Now generally, raw pie crusts are made almost solely out of nuts and dates. But a few years back, I started incorporating sprouted oats into my pie crust, and I actually like it a lot better. It's lower in fat, higher in carbs, and I just think, you know, it's less greasy and tastes a lot more like a traditional pie crust. Now, if you are concerned about gluten, you can check out gluten-free oats as an option. I haven't tried them myself, so I can't say how they taste compared to the sprouted, but I just checked and Thrive Market does carry gluten-free oats, so if you can't find them in your local market, you can always buy them online. Now, as it turns out, months and months ago, Ryan had actually partnered up with them to offer you guys a deal, and I've completely neglected to mention it. So if you go over to happyhealthyvegan.org, you'll find a Thrive Marketplace coupon page where you click through, you'll get a free month's service plus 15% of your first order. So check it out and let me know what you think in the comments down below. So there are lots of different nuts that you can use to make raw pie crusts, and often I will use almonds. Sometimes when I'm not overly worried about it being fully raw, I'll use almond meal because it's easy and cheap to get. But today I'm very excited because walnuts are back in stock at my farmer's market. These are so good. They're not like any of the walnuts that you'll get in the store, but I'm sure if you use the store-bought walnuts, you'll still get a pretty good result. What a mess. Walnuts look like little brains, don't they? They kind of freak me out. So I've got my quarter cup of delicious looking walnuts all set to go, and I was just about to measure out the dates when I realized we need to have a little talk. Yeah. So when my sister Lisa attempted to make the persimmon pie, she said, Angie, this didn't turn out as delicious and creamy as yours. So I said, are you using a high-powered blender? She said, yeah, I'm using Blendtec. I go, okay, I'm using Vitamix. I mean, they're comparable. And then I said, what dates are you using? And she said, I'm using Trader Joe's dates. So here's a Trader Joe's Medjool date. You know, they're readily available. They're somewhat delicious, but they are hard. They are so hard. These are not fresh like farmers market dates, okay? These are the Bautista dates. Look how gooey. So you're gonna get really different results if you have a dry old date or you have a freshly picked squishy date. So that is really the whole thing. When I'm working on my recipes, it's like if people don't use ingredients that are as good as mine, it won't be quite as delicious. So what I told my sister to do is if you must use Trader Joe's or comparable dates, soak them first. Just soak them in a little water. Don't use a ton of water, just a little water, and just wait until they get squishy, and that should help bring it to more of this state. And I can't resist this any longer. So good. So I think I'm using a Halawe date. You can use Kadrar, you can use honey, Bari if you can get them. Just the softer, the better. Because what the date is doing is it's binding the oats and then it's together to form the crust. So the more moisture inherent in your fruit, the more moisture in your pie crust. So I'm gonna do probably 3/4 a cup. If you've got firmer dates, you might need to use a full cup. I shouldn't neglect to mention too, the dates not only are binding, but they're sweetening. So this is your sugar as well. Even more important to mention is make sure to pit your dates. Not only do I pit them, but I remove this little stem piece, which I lovingly refer to as the butt. I don't like those things. And here is the pit. You do not want to put this into either your blender or your food processor, or you're gonna have a bad time. All right, so let's get this party started. I'm gonna start it all off with 1.5 cups oats. Throw them in. I'm gonna do a little pre-grinding. The goal is to kind of grind it down till it's a powder. I suppose there may be oat flour out there that you could use as well. I haven't tried it, but you could check it out. Now I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of my vanilla powder. I'll go ahead and throw in my walnuts now as well. The walnuts are already starting to bind a little bit, but now it's time for the big guns. Let's get it on with the dates. I'm not gonna put all of them right away just to see how much I really need. I'll reserve a couple. All right, let's take a look-see. Sometimes you can't really tell how moist your dough is until you actually take it out and squeeze it with your hand. If it comes together and forms a ball, it's probably good enough. This still seems a little bit dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw the rest of those dates in. Sometimes it helps to kind of shake it. It's starting to clump up. That's when you know it's really blended well. So I kind of put it in the middle, and then I just start working it out to the edges. So if you're really concerned about, you know, nut consumption and fat, and you don't want any nuts in here, you can do this with all oats. But I noticed that it is a lot harder to work it into the pie pan. You guys have seen me do this before when I did an impromptu peach pie demo. It was on like a vlog, day in the life, but I showed most of the process of making a peach pie. So here it is. You know, it could probably be more perfect, but I think this will definitely get it done. So now it's time for the filling. I hate to admit this, but I have not actually nailed down how many persimmons I need to fill my pie pan. So we're gonna be winging it as usual. This blender is great. I can just bloop, plop them in there. Once again, take this butt thing off. You're not gonna want that in there. But the skin, totally fine. People have asked me, what does a persimmon taste like? Like a persimmon. There's really nothing else like it. There's something kind of spicy about it. The texture you're gonna notice, it's really gushy. I mean, really, it's a party all by itself. Making a pie out of it is kind of unnecessary, but it is fun for the holidays. And that's what this video is about, celebrating the holidays. It looks great for Halloween, but it really impresses people for Thanksgiving. My family all love it, and they're not even vegan. Now, persimmons are actually really sweet anyways, but I usually put a few dates in. I don't know why. Like, I want just like so much sweetness. So I'll just throw a couple in. One addition I'm gonna make is pumpkin pie spice, because this can kind of come across as a pumpkin pie when it's all done, in all honesty. So I don't know, it's kind of hardcore. I'm gonna try 1/4 teaspoon. Is that what it is? Yes, 1/4 teaspoon of that. And then down to my faves. I love me some vanilla. So I'll put about a teaspoon of that. And I love my Ceylon cinnamon. So I'm gonna do maybe not the full 1/4 teaspoon of that. Bing! Spicy. Kind of doubt I'll need the tampering tool for this, but let's see. Oh my god, that's so easy. Look at that delicious orange goo. Yum. Alright, let's see if I eyeballed this right. I'm gonna pour the goo in the crust. Oh, yes. Oh, I have so much goo. Okay, I went a little bit crazy. This thing is totally filled to the rim. If you want to get all like fully raw Christine about it, you can smooth it. Maybe I'll do that. Let me get a spatula. So here it is, my overstuffed pie. Now I have totally eaten these fresh, just like it is. This summer I've been kind of digging pies that are a little bit frozen, so I think I'm gonna stick this in the freezer and just let it set up a little bit more. It makes it easier to cut. Just slide it right on there. So I'll check back with this in a little bit. Well, I made so much filling, it's like now I have my own personal pudding as well.
Alright.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. There you go.
Yeah, I was just sneaking a little persimmon pudding here while I wait for the pie to firm up. Want a bite?
Oh yeah.
Of course he wants a bite. Kidding? All right, let's check this thing out. So I felt bad that it wasn't a little more fancy. Added some bananas. Look how pretty that is. Okay, I had a technical error and you didn't get to actually see me cut the pie, but you can see me bring another slice out. So I was saying that the nice thing about freezing this for a couple hours is it firms up and makes it a lot easier to slice without it gushing all over the place. So let's just make sure that it's cut all the way through, which this feels like it is. And boom. There we go. Look at this lovely slice of pie. And I think I know someone who would like to do the bite of approval. So you want to do the bite of approval, Bodie? I don't think so, Crazy Kitty. All right, so you get the bite of approval today.
Awesome, thank you.
He just got back from a run, and I know that he wants to carve it up.
Heck yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed this healthy, quick and easy raw persimmon pie recipe demo. If you did, please hit like, share it with a friend, perhaps one that also has a persimmon tree. Oh, you're very curious, aren't you, little buddy? Leave your comments and questions down below. Subscribe if you haven't already for more vegan food recipes, news, adventures, and more from me and Ryan here at Happy Healthy Vegan. And until next time, keep it carb, baby. Keep it carb. Bodie, you're so cute. I give a super quick shout out to Madam Glam for sending me this great orange fingernail polish. It's called Summer Days, but I thought it was just perfect for my persimmon demo and for Halloween.